Hi everyone, this is Teacher Jen from Camglish.com and welcome to another fun and exciting lesson from Exploring English Book 6. This is by Tim Harris and Alan Rowe. Before we finish reading this story, I want to go back to the first page where it all started, okay? So to have a review, I will give you a chance to read this again. To do that, you can pause this video for a while so that you can read the first page. Now let's go on to the second page. You can pause it again. When you are done, you can press play so that we can continue on the third page. And now, let's go on to the last page of the story. Outside the public school, Marty and Jenny watch the long line of people waiting to vote. "Gee," exclaims Jenny, "voting looks like fun. When I grow up, I'm going to vote too. I wish I were grown up now." "Me too," says Marty. "Why don't they let kids vote? If you could vote, who would you vote for?" And that's the end of our story. I hope you understood what the story is about. Now, I'm going to read the following questions and you have to answer the following. You can go back to the previous pages if you need to. What are the people at Martinelli's talking about? Why was Nancy surprised to hear that Barbara voted for Otis? Why won't Dr. Pasto tell anyone who he voted for? How do Anne and Johnny prove Dr. Pasto's point about politics? What is the coincidence involving Otis and Mr. Bascom? How do they resolve their problem? Why doesn't it make any difference if they vote or not? Why is Barney upset when Otis and Mr. Bascom go off for a cup of coffee? What does Jenny think about voting? Who would you vote for, Otis or Mr. Bascom, and why? Now, we have questions for free response. We got the question, what do you think will happen if? Okay, so I want you to answer these activities too. What do you think will happen if Mr. Bascom wins the election? Otis wins the election. They build a toy factory in City Park. Mr. Bascom finds out that Barbara voted for Otis. Dr. Pasto runs for mayor 4 years from now. Anne and Johnny get married. Okay, now the second part. Suppose you were the mayor of the city where you are living now. What would you do to improve public transportation? What would you do about pollution? What would you provide, or how would you provide more jobs? What would you do about taxes? What would you do about crime? What would you do to help homeless people? How would you improve education? What else would you do and why? So for you to be able to answer that well, you can pause this video and copy all these sentences. When you're done, you can answer them on your own. Now let's go on to the next page and practice. Make sentences using the third conditional. He lost the debate. He wouldn't have lost the debate if he had been more relaxed. He didn't get elected. He would have gotten elected if he hadn't lost the debate. He didn't get the job. He would have gotten the job if he hadn't been late. She didn't marry him. She would have married him if he had a job. They lost their money. They wouldn't have lost their money if they had kept it in a bank. We didn't help them. We would have helped them if they had been so kind. I didn't go to the party. I would have gone to the party if I had been invited. He didn't pass the exam. He would have passed the exam if he had studied hard. They missed the bus. He wouldn't have missed the bus if he had been early at the bus stop. We got in trouble. We wouldn't have gotten in trouble if they were or if they had been so kind. Now let's go on, and this is a written exercise. Complete the sentences using must have been, might have been, should have been, or would have been, whichever is the most appropriate. It was a very old house. It must have been built over 90 years ago. We don't know why she left the party early. She might have been tired. Now I'm going to read all of these sentences, and I want you to get a piece of paper and copy all of them. I don't think she blank robbed if she had been more careful. Who knows? She hold up just because she's a woman. She frightened because she didn't try to call for help. If you had been stopped by a man with a gun, you scared too. It's a good thing she didn't get into a fight. She hurt. We're upset. We think she'd give a ride home from the party. If they had gone straight to the police, there's a chance she'd rescue by now. That letter wasn't written by her. It right by someone else. No one wanted to worry her family, but I think they tell the truth. So as you can see, all these sentences are not complete. So you have to complete them using these phrases, whichever is the most appropriate. To do that, you can copy these sentences on a separate sheet of paper, okay? Now, this is the end of our lesson. I hope you learned something. This is Teacher Jen from camgush.com saying goodbye and see you on our next video. Goodbye!